In today's episode of Top Dog Tips, we're diving into the ever-evolving world of financial services and employees' benefits. Joining us today is respected financial leader Tyler Blum of Fasilium Financial, who's going to share some creative ways that businesses can use financial planning and employee benefits to not only grow their business, but keep their employees satisfied and retain their valuable assets. Let's dive in. Hey, Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
So, Tyler, in the fast-paced world of financial services, especially in the realm of employee benefits, your expertise in investment management and benefits brokerage is invaluable. The financial landscape seems to be in a constant shift, and our audience is keen to learn and understand how financial plannings and employee benefit programs can help their organizations grow and contribute to employee satisfaction and retention. So can you provide our audience with kind of 3 tips, effective tips or strategies for businesses to adopt when in the services for financial planning and employee benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the first things that people need to understand about financial services and planning is that you have to take that step. You have to be proactive. You have to be motivated. No one's going to get your house in order for you. And that these concepts and the things that are involved in them. 3 tips, I think that would be really helpful for anyone, business owner or employee. The first one that comes to mind is that this is a real field that you have to engage in, be proactive and motivated. Your financial planning, your risk assessment, all of these things, they're not something that you can do yourself, and having an expert there to guide you makes all the difference in the world. You wouldn't believe this decrease in risk and in taxable benefits that can be achieved by having a financial advisor with you. The second thing that I would say about, kind of along that same train of thought is the value of insurance products. There's a couple of things that they do, and there's different types for each scenario, but they can do things like pass money in a tax advantaged way. They can mitigate your risk. They are not just products that you put money into and never see a return. That is a common misconception. Insurance is a very powerful tool used by the ultra wealthy to mitigate risk and manage everything they do.
Interesting.
And the last thing I would say about, a good tip is, take advantage of the resources out there. People like myself offer free consultations. We're able to do assessments, and maybe working with you isn't the right fit, but we'll definitely impart some knowledge that you can take away into your business, your personal finances, to get your money working for you so you can reach your goals swifter and easier.
Yeah, thank you. Those are some great tips and things to really consider when you're in the marketplace. But and you kind of alluded to it. It can be complex unless you're working with reputable, knowledgeable guys. But what are some of the common mistakes or misconceptions that you see people make when it comes to financial planning and employee benefits programs?
Yeah, I think that people don't recognize how nuanced it is and how the little things matter, kind of a decision overload type of scenario. When you step into this world, if you just think, I'm going to get a health and dental package for my staff, there are tremendous considerations that go along with it. And as a business owner, you're working on engaging in your market, and you can make decisions that are not optimal. And individuals like myself, we can support with that. I think the other thing that people think is that, I'm good with my money, or I can manage it, or it'll be better next year. The reality is that financial discipline is challenging and difficult. We live in a consumerism culture. We see way more ads about buying a new car and doing something fun than we do for putting your money away and letting interest take care of it. We're pushed in this direction, and so we have to be disciplined in ourselves, and it's difficult. We often act like coaches to help people reach their financial goals because it's a challenging environment out there.
Sometimes you just need some guide rails. right?
Yeah,
People kind of keep us within the lines, right?
for sure, right? We're all we all have our vices, some people it's golf, some people, it might be expensive chocolate, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We just need to figure out how that fits into our financial plan, not runs our financial plan. We want to be the owner of that. And last thing I would say is that people the misconception is like how expensive employee benefits are. There are really economical packages that can get your staff some really, affordable options for their dental health, their vision, whatever is most important to you. They're not all tremendously expensive and are going to break the bank, and there's some tax advantages too that can be utilized through that. So every business should consider it.
All right, that's going to be surprising news to a lot of people, especially a lot of business owners. They shy away from even having the conversations about employee benefits because, it's while it can be construed as expensive, it is a cost. However, when you come to employee satisfaction and retention, what is the cost of having to replace people? It's extraordinary if you actually sit down and did the math.
It really is, and it's a difficult thing to do the math on it, and obviously there's been lots of studies on it, but someone will make employment decisions based on their benefits all the time. And if you don't have benefits, even if you're paying a little bit more in salary, people are risk averse. They will often go to the place they feel more secure. And so it's a difficult calculation to make because it's very easy to see the cost coming off the top of your bills there, but it is very real, and there's a reason every large company has some sort of benefits package. It's because they've done the math and they know what's better for them.
Okay, so again, I mentioned while it can be a little complex when you're shopping, when you're in the market for a combination of financial planning and employee benefit services, what are some of the common pitfalls or things that people should be aware of? And when it comes to disclosures and things like that, what are some of the gotchas that are out there, Tyler?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I would say to be aware of is the benefits programs are complex, as I've said before, and there can be things that you don't realize in terms of fees and costs. What a benefits provider, an insurance company, will often do is they will earn your business by offering a very, very cheap rate. And you're like, wow, this is such a great deal. And it is. What happens is every year on renewal, they will increase that rate. So most benefits packages renew annually, and they will increase that rate. And every year when they do that, they increase their margin as well. And so what was once a great deal at year one doesn't become a great deal anymore by year 3 or 5. What my clients and myself work on is every 3 to 5 years, we will revisit your benefits package and negotiate with the benefits provider to make sure that you're still paying the appropriate amount. If you don't do this, they will continue to increase their margin on you, and you are the one who once was getting a great deal maybe isn't as great of a deal now.
Why? Because they can.
Exactly. It's very similar. Like, it is a hassle to change your benefits provider, and they bank on that you're not going to do it. It's the same thing with your phone company. You buy a cell phone, they'll give you a great deal, 12 months at a reduced rate, and their margin on that 12 months isn't huge, but that 13th month, when you're out of your discount period, they start making big money. Yeah, for sure. I guess one of the other things is I would suggest when people need to do their due diligence and really shop when you're getting a price that seems too good to be true for a plan. I think you need to really dig in and understand, are they being transparent? Are you comparing apples to apples? So I'm sure that's a process that somebody like Fasilium would take them through the proper process, right? Absolutely, right. We have the experience, with these contracts, the terms and conditions. These documents are not small, and they are full of legalese, if you will. It's not a simple thing, and the implications thereof are not as upfront as we would all like them to be. So having Fasilium along there beside you to kind of go through it and say, hey, this is what's good about the offer, maybe this is what could be better, and push for, advocate for you, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. So Do your due diligence, ask the right questions, and make sure the company you're dealing with is full, transparency, compliance, and the plan's aligned with your actual goals.
100%. Yeah.
So let's get into, if you can provide an example. You've been doing this for a long time with a lot of different companies. Does there any particular story come to mind where you help the client out? They're having a certain problem coming through, and then they walk through. And why don't you walk through an example or a story of one of the customers you've helped out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been lots of cases, but a few that come to mind. So we were dealing with I would classify as a medium-sized company, and they had engaged us to review their benefits package as well as their group RSP, their retirement program. So we did an audit of these employee support programs, and what actually happened is they hadn't done any review of it in many, many years, over 5 years, which is too long in my opinion. And their retirement program, they had two different categories for this retirement program: their executives and their everyone else on their staff. Now, generally speaking, executives are going to be closer to retirement. They're going to have more wealth and these sort of things. And these funds that they were in, which were, supposed to be gaining money and compounding to accelerate to retirement, the executive program was actually higher risk than the employee program. Typically, when we're doing investment strategies, you want your lower risk individuals to be close to retirement. You finally built up this big nest egg, and there's a market event, and now you have to continue working for a few more years. The younger you are and the further you are from retirement, the higher risk it is. And so this company had actually had their setup, because it hadn't been reviewed, it was inverted. So the younger people with less money were in low risk, and the executives were in high risk. And so we estimated that it had cost them a significant amount of money. 2022 was a challenging year for most markets. And so they had individuals who were close to retirement that, honestly are looking at working another year. And that shouldn't be that way. And what we did to fix it is, we came in, we recognized the issue. It was very apparent to us. But if you don't have an eye for this sort of thing, you would easily miss it. And so we've worked with those individuals and changed them into more appropriate funds based on their current situation. And if you don't have expertise in this, you'd never know. You would never know, but it makes a big difference to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars over a long period of time.
It sounds like obviously somebody or several people dropped the ball, and I'm sure once they got over the shock of what their plan actually did, if they ever did get over the shock, I'm sure they were pretty grateful that you came in and helped them right size the whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of those things where we can't turn back the clock, but I think as a responsible business owner, you have to make the best decision going forward. There was certainly a little bit of buyer's remorse, but once they had kind of got over that, they're like, okay, well, it is what it is. And let's move forward and make sure that our staff are taken care of, and that, the people are protected, and that everyone's in their proper risk assessment. So they are really grateful. It has made a difference, and everyone is appropriately allocated in their resources. And I think that one thing too, as business owners, we wear so many hats and we're responsible for so many different things. We think we can do it all. This is one of the many instances where I wouldn't expect a business owner to know. You would have to have a professional eye to see this. And so it's not their fault, but an annual review, or every few years reviewing these practices, is the biggest piece of advice I can give to someone.
Yeah, that's a great best practice. So let's shift gears a little bit here, Tyler. You know what? These days, in the world of technology and AI, people want to do business with people, and they want to know who they're dealing with. So maybe, can you share what's your story? What's your passion? What gets you out of bed? Why are you in the financial planning industry? What is there something that triggered in your childhood that decided that set you down this path?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting now looking back. You don't see it at the time, but how life kind of guides you towards these things. I grew up in rural southern Alberta. My father was a carpenter. We did not have a lot of money at all. An experience I remember one time we had as a kid, we had to go to the zoo for a field trip, and so I said, Dad, I need to go to the zoo. I need $20. And just this look came over his face of, I didn't understand at the time, but he didn't have $20. And so we had a little change jar that my dad would drop money into from his pocket change, and we had to get that out and count up the quarters and the nickels, and so that I could go to the zoo with my classmates. And just a lot of experiences like that. And as you get older and you see things, you realize it doesn't need to be that way. If I could have had a conversation with my father, now with a younger version of him, it would have made a huge difference. I could have saved a lot of the challenges that I know that he went through. And it's not that he was a foolish man. It's not that he didn't work hard. He did those things. No one had taught him about money management. And I want to be able to provide that sort of support for other people. The finance world is complex, and it's a hard thing to navigate without a support, without a coach, without a professional. And so my goal and my dream and how I got to this point is, I don't want people to have their finances be a pain point. Your finance should be something that sets you free, not entraps you. And so at Fasilium, we're committed to doing that with and for people who take their finances seriously. And it's very rewarding, and I love what I do because of it.
Yeah, that your passion comes through loud and clear, my friend. Yeah. So kudos to you. So that's a good segue to my next question is, Fasilium Financial, who are you? What services do you perform? Who do you perform it for? And why should our audience decide to work with you?
It's a great question. So there are a couple very distinct advantages that Fasilium Financial has over most of our peers in this business space. So the first one would be is that all of our advisors are dual licensed. And what that means is we're licensed to provide both insurance and wealth product advice. So if you work with one of us, we could get an insurance product for you and manage your finances. That's not something that's common in the industry. A lot of people will they just sell insurance or they just manage wealth. True holistic financial planning requires both. You need protection from when things go wrong, and you need your money to be working for itself. So that is a huge thing that is, again, not as common as it should be, because it takes a lot of expertise to be able to be a professional in both these fields. What we do with that is Fasilium, when we contract with a business who gets a benefits program, these benefits programs, we get paid well to broker them for clients. And then what we do is all the staff of the client, we offer our financial services for free to those staff members. So if your company was to get an optometry package or whatever for your business, we would broker that for you, making sure that you get the best deal. And then we would say all of your staff are able to engage with our team to work on their financial planning at no charge. The sad reality of the world of finance is that the middle and lower class individuals are not serviced by financial advisors in the way that they should be, because of the reality is, if I'm creating a form, it's easy to just add more zeros and my profit scales with that. And so people only try to service the ultra affluent. And so you get not as good of an experience if you're in the middle to lower class. We get compensated from the benefits package, and so we're able to work with people who aren't super rich. So it really benefits the business owner because their staff will be taken care of. You're going to have greater retention because people aren't stressed about money. And it really is good for us. We get to help people, the people that truly need it, the people who are living on the edge, who are trying to save enough money so that they can retire or buy a house or whatever their goal is. And we are uniquely positioned to provide service in those categories. And not a lot of financial planning services companies do that.
Business owners, entrepreneurs, are you listening? There's a chance to not only get into an employee benefit program, but it's add additional value to your employees to keep them retained, keep them loyal and active by offering them free financial planning services. It's all part of it. That's such a game changer for so many people. So listen up, guys.
Yeah, your staff member, if their finances are in good order and they've been taught how to save and their money's working for them, it's a no-brainer that they're going to be more likely to stay where they're at and not be looking to go somewhere else. If they know that, hey, if I work hard at this job for 15 more years, I'm going to retire and I'm going to have the life that I dream of, they're going to stay. But if they're mismanaging their money, if they are trying to keep up with the Jones, they're going to go to your competitor, and that's a big cost to you.
Okay, well, as we wrap things up, Tyler, what is your key takeaway message? What do you want the business owners who are our audience seeking financial planning and employee benefit services? What do you want them to take away from this conversation?
Yeah, I think that, we've talked about a lot of things. I think the key takeaways are these. Firstly, I would say that you are responsible for your financial future and you're not an expert. So engage with an expert. We are here to help. We offer free consultations at no cost to the business owner. We're happy to review and make sure that there's a good fit. There is solutions that every business owner should be at least looking at and considering in order to optimize their financial practice. I think that is a really big thing that individuals don't realize. And, get engaged, take accountability, and your business will thrive and you'll be better for it, and your staff as well.
Great message, great takeaway. How do our audience contact you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're available. You can contact me on LinkedIn, but probably the best way to go is just go to our website, fasilium.com/financial, and we'll be promoting this podcast. And, I'm available. You can find me. You can Google me, and I'll be there, and I'll be happy to answer your questions and, see if there's a good fit and if we should be working with you and helping you achieve your financial goals.
Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for being on the show, Tyler.
Thank you, Greg. It's been a pleasure. Let's do it again.
Folks, that's it. There's a wrap on another episode of Top Dog Tips, no BS financial advice. If you like what you're seeing, like, share, comment, tell your friends. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. Take care.